Alrighty, well, good morning, everybody. John here with Crypto Top 10, coming at you with some of the trending articles in the crypto news space. As always, straight off the top, thanks to everyone who's subscribed wherever they're finding this content. I really do appreciate it. Lets me know I'm doing, well, probably something all right. That little button right there. Yeah, that one. That one right there. Go ahead and press it if you want. If not, I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Either way, we're going to get in and talk about some Polkadot, some Ripple, Cardano, OX. Oh man, what the United States has planned for central bank digital currencies, Ethereum's uh, interesting problem. Well, problem, massive profit gain, one of the two, and Elon Musk getting into the crypto space just a little bit more. But that is way at the end, so stick around. Let's get into Polkadot though. Crypto custodian Fireblocks has announced the launch of a new proof of stake capabilities on its platform, which will enable its 165 enterprise and institutional clients to stake crypto. It's rolling out with support for Polkadot, hence the title of the article, Tezos, and Ethereum 2.0, and it promises a yield increase ranging from between 5 and 15%. For those of you who do not know, which I'm included in this, Fireblocks is an enterprise-grade platform for moving, storing, and issuing digital assets. And they said that significant demand from their customers has pushed them to introduce the service to their platform. They were quoted as saying, "We are launching staking wallets to Fireblocks customers who collectively hold a significant balance of crypto assets." While noted, the majority of Fireblocks clients hold Bitcoin, the company does have over $1 billion in assets between DOT, XTZ, and Ethereum. So it's coming as no surprise, considering that many of its largest customers include major players in DeFi lending. You've probably heard these names: BlockFi, Celsius, Nexo, which has an ad up at the top in the banner, Salt, Revolut, B2C2, CoinFlex, and Galaxy Digital. Some of their clients. So they've got some pretty high moving, pretty powerful people in the space. So I can see why they're adding these things. Those companies definitely want to make a buck. Also, they want to do it as a hands-free delegation. So setting up staking requires a high degree of security, and storing the asset and delegating it to staking nodes or operators. That's been one of their biggest obstacles for institutions looking to diversify their portfolio and dip their fingers into staking. All of this could bode incredibly well for Polkadot, who's had a massive price growth. In fact, for a hot second there, they actually surpassed XRP to be the fourth largest crypto by market cap. XRP, of course, was number 3 for a very long time, but dropped below Tether after interesting thing, which we'll get into here in the next article. Ripple has actually inked a deal with Malaysian money transfer business and Bangladesh's largest mobile financial services provider to enable a remittance corridor between the two countries, which is why Ripple exists. So good for them. According to the announcement on Tuesday, Malaysia's mobile money and Bangladesh's Bcash will leverage Ripple's global payments network, RippleNet, for wallet-to-wallet transactions. This partnership will contribute to further our national economy by encouraging inward foreign remittance flow through legal channels, said Bcash CEO. Under the purview of Bangladesh's central bank, the MTB, it will function as the domestic banking partner to undertake these remittance settlements. While mobile money represents a small fraction of Malaysia's mobile payments, Bcash boasts a user base in excess of 45 million people, so you can see how this could grow pretty large pretty quickly. The company currently captures a large portion of the country's remittance flow. It's actually the third largest in South Asia, so this is a fairly major partnership that Ripple is announcing, and it'll help offset the fact that the company is currently being sued by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission over a claim that it violated federal securities laws by selling XRP to retail consumers. This has been ongoing back and forth since like 2017, so nigh on 4 years at this point. A lot of cryptos were sold illegally under current U.S. law as securities. of course, no one knew that really at the time. Some could suspect it, but there was a lot of uncertainty on where the U.S. SEC's jurisdiction lay, as no one had laid a claim to it. This was emerging technology. So as long as the crypto companies play nicely with the SEC, they've made out with some minor fines and all that. So I don't think this will end up being a big thing, but it did tank XRP's price, dropping it below Tether for the first time in probably over a year, and allowed the opportunity for Polkadot, for however briefly, to take the number 4 spot from it. I believe currently Polkadot is number 5, XRP is number 4, but their market caps are pretty darn close. But this remittance channel is pretty darn good. Southeast Asia is quickly becoming a hotbed for crypto. For whatever reason, I know Zilliqa is very well embedded into a lot of those countries. We don't hear a lot about it here in the States, but they are pretty prevalent over there. But moving on to the next thing, Cardano. They just closed the Fund 2 funding phase. Fund 2 funding phase? Yeah, sure, why not? As part of Project Catalyst, which is the first phase of the Voltaire-era roadmap, 11 proposals will divide $250,000 in ADA amongst themselves to further development of the Cardano ecosystem. Now, ADA voters were actually able to vote and select these 11 winning Fund 2 projects. The Create Message Signing Standard proposal got the most votes, followed by Liquid Cardano DeFi Lending Markets and Cardano for Mobile dApp Developers. So the project that's going to get the most money from Fund 2 is, of course, Cardano DeFi Lending Markets with almost $42,000. In addition, a list of rejected projects was also published, many of which actually got the minimum number of votes to be approved. However, the proposals were not submitted in the required time. So that actually makes me pretty happy, because it means a lot of popular proposals are going on. And in fact, the $250,000, had they all been submitted at the same time, might have been insufficient to really give these guys the money they need to develop. So hopefully when the Fund 3 phase comes around, these projects can be resubmitted to help Cardano grow. I really like how they're doing this. Honestly, you need this type of internal development and allocation of funds, so that way, without the Cardano Foundation and without Emergo and without Charles Hoskinson, Cardano can grow and develop into the future. And they're definitely doing a really good job to future-proof it. Speaking of Hoskinson, he released a video celebrating the Fund 2 allocation and congratulating the community and the selected projects. He did acknowledge that the voting process was a bit rocky. Of course, it was the first time they attempted it, so they're hoping to make it easier for future funding rounds. At the same time, he revealed that they are discussing the possibility of launching an accelerator program. Through such an initiative, some projects would receive support to reach the next level, so that way they could then be elected in Project Catalyst. In addition, there's talk of adding a dedicated team to provide support and assistance to the decision-making and voting process. See, right there. They are investing heavily in the future of Cardano, which will certainly pay dividends to them and those of us who use it. Project Catalyst Fund 3 has already been launched, and a total of $500,000 will be allocated to these new participants, so we can expect a larger pool coming to us. Very exciting. Really like it. Cardano is something you got to keep an eye on. They are number 6 by market cap at this point. They are going to be a big player for some time to come. It is amazing to think that at one point this year, Cardano was 2 cents. It's currently 32 cents. So I hope everyone out there bought oh so much Cardano when it was 2 cents a pop. Moving on over, OX or ZRX price is rallying 35% ahead of version 4's mainnet update. So the OX protocol, for those of you who don't know, raised $24 million back in 2017 when they sold 50% of their supply. As an ERC20 token, the permissionless protocol connects liquidity providers through smart contracts and helps aggregate liquidity. So that was their ICO. You could argue that might come under fire for the SEC, but you never know these days, or if it already has, it's a fun thing. The protocol does allow interoperability between different decentralized applications and DEXs. So you really can't really call ZRX a Uniswap competitor, but it does benefit from the increased liquidity provided by the sector. Initially launched as a voting mechanism for governance protocols, ZRX tokens received staking capabilities back in 2019. Market makers were then able to earn Ethereum rewards for providing liquidity services. Meanwhile, holders could also benefit by delegating their tokens to pools. In June of 2020, they launched a DEX liquidity aggregator service known as Matcha. After serving exclusively as backbone for 3 years, the OX protocol created a smart order routing service that encompasses DEX like Uniswap, Curve, and Kyber. So they are doing a lot of work. A lot of back-end stuff. They've been low-key growing their community. They are on Coinbase. I'll be honest, I have not looked as closely into this protocol as I probably should have. At one point, I did own some ZRX. I sold it off. Maybe knowing what I know now, I might have hung on to it. That's just my opinion. But on December 15th, so exactly a month ago, Theo Ganella, the OX Labs project manager, showed data from a market maker that made a 100% return in 2020 by providing liquidity on 284 Ethereum across 41,000 trades. More recently, OX Tracker stated that 17,082 Ethereum were distributed to OX market makers as liquidity rewards in 2020. So it's definitely a good little protocol that seems to be generating good returns and good income. Their version 4 voting process is going to be running starting tomorrow and will end on the 23rd, aiming to reduce requests for quotation gas costs by 70%. Wow. How about that? There's still some stuff that OX needs to work on, but it's definitely something we should all keep an eye on. They're doing something right. Hopping on over, the United States Fed had some conversations about central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, talking about how currently crypto stablecoins could become systemically important overnight, according to Chairman Jerome Powell of the U.S. Federal Reserve. So the Fed is determined to get its own CBDC right. So CBDCs are the banking industry's answer to these stablecoins. While they are often hosted on the blockchain, they actually don't really share all that much with the philosophy behind these decentralized counterparts. CBDCs will be exactly that, centralized and overseen by banks that issue them, and would be regulated under the laws of their respective jurisdictions. So in theory, the Fed could create a US CBDC that would be on par with the dollar, and bam, there we go. We now have digital currency. However, there's a lot of infrastructure that would have to be added for that. So like you said, you gotta get it right. It's a high priority, though the Fed doesn't seem to be falling into what they call the trap of trying to be first. Russia, China, Sweden, Australia, and the European Central Bank have all taken steps towards launching a CBDC. Some are further along than others. China is planning on launching theirs on the large scale when the 2022 Olympics are held in the country, which seems to be the best way to do it, because you will have large inflows of tourists from around the world. Makes absolute sense. They're hedging their bets that by being first, they can eat into some of the United States' status as the world's reserve currency. According to Powell, because the United States has the world's reserve currency in the US dollar, we will always have first mover advantage. I 100% disagree. That's the same thing Blockbuster probably said about Netflix. The game is changing, and the United States needs to change with it or be left behind. I cannot disagree with him anymore. Oh my goodness. CBDCs might be the next step, but if you fall behind there, the step after CBDC is where you'll be left in the dust. Netflix was on par with Blockbuster when they were sending out videos and DVDs through the mail. Then Blockbuster didn't really pursue that route, lending stuff through the mail. Didn't seem to be big fans of it. And then the next step after the mail was streaming. And because Blockbuster fell 2 steps behind, they got blown out of the water. And that's my worry with this CBDC. I think they need to do a bit more to keep America at the forefront of the world's reserve currency. Just my opinion. But hey, hopping on over, pretty interesting. Some dude's got some pretty aggressive predictions for Ethereum. So the amount of Ethereum held on exchanges has plunged over the past 2 days. CryptoQuant data indicates that just 8.1 million Ethereum is currently sitting in reserves. The acceleration of Ethereum being taken off exchanges was highlighted by Nugget News' Alex Saunders, who noted a 10% drop in Ethereum reserves on centralized platforms on January 10th or 14th. It dropped from 11 to 10 million in just 24 hours, which is a pretty significant drop. He espoused the theory that at this rate, exchanges will run out of Ethereum in 10 days, which is an aggressive prediction. I don't think that'll be the case. The decline in Ether reserves has actually escalated by a further 20%. So now his worry is that centralized platforms could run out of Ethereum within the next 2 days. In fact, other data providers can also show that exchange balances have fallen by almost 43% since the all-time high of 14.1 million in mid-May of last year. Data from Glassnode indicates that Ethereum reserves on centralized exchanges have not been this low since July of 2018. As of this writing, only 7% of Ethereum's circulating supply is held on these exchanges. Saunders interprets the data of suggesting that an explosive bull run into new all-time highs is imminent. I do agree with them. Anyone who's taken a basic macroeconomics course knows about supply and demand. The higher the demand, the lower the supply. The lower the supply, the higher the demand. The higher the supply, the lower the demand. So there's just all these different things that go into its price. But if more and more Ethereum is being pulled off exchanges, then it becomes harder to buy Ethereum. And you see where I'm going here. It eventually leads to some pretty crazy numbers. CryptoQuant data is showing that Bitcoin reserves have fallen by 21% as well since their all-time high during March of 2020. However, the recent acceleration of Ethereum far outpaces Bitcoin, which is a fair point. However, 600,000 worth of Ethereum has been attributed to an internal transfer of Bitfinex cold wallets, one of which is believed not to be recognized by the CryptoQuant analyzing service. Further, 2 million Ethereum that has left exchanges was identified as being moved to DeFi platform Gnosis. So it's not just being taken out of circulation, it's just being moved around. So take everything you see about this with a grain of salt. Still, it is pretty interesting to see. Not all of this drop is indicative of just money being moved around. There's less Ethereum out there for those of us to buy. And that's only going to drive the prices up further, which I am very excited for. Elon Musk is one more billionaire, Mr. Richest Man in the World, or maybe he's second to Jeff Bezos. Now, either way, he's ridiculously wealthy and a meme lord. He got pretty active in a tweet thread about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Billionaires author Ben Mezrich said that in the future he would never turn down getting paid in Bitcoin. Sentiment Musk did agree with, but they did continue their discussion after that. While Musk got a lot of replies for it, it was a comment by Parallax Digital CEO Robert Breedlove that got his attention. He wrote that money is simply a tool for moving value across space-time. Gold was great for moving value across time, but not space. Fiat currency is great for moving value across space, but not time. Bitcoin is optimized for moving value across both. Musk disagreed with that. He said the thing we call money is just an information system for labor allocation. What really matters is making goods and providing services. We should look at currencies from an information theory standpoint. Whichever has the least error and latency will win. I agree with that. The most efficient means is going to win out because all of us here are collectively lazy. And the easier we can do something, the more likely we're going to do it that way. We just are. Musk has in the past been pretty pro crypto. He's tweeted about Dogecoin quite a few times. So another commenter on the thread told Musk this. It has latency see and transaction costs, so that is an issue. But if used as a store of value and a transmission of large values, it's massively efficient. Currencies already work as currencies. Bitcoin need not replace them. Rather, Bitcoin is a patch to fix Reserve Bank's inflationary insanity. I mean, inflation is definitely growing, especially in response to COVID-19, as governments scramble to figure out how to keep their economies from just collapsing into dust. Musk agreed that this was a good point. I'm very interested to see where things go long term, as I know you all are. But that is it for the trending articles in the crypto news space. Let's take a look at the top 10 coins by market cap on January the 15th. So Bitcoin's sitting at about $37,000, $37,600. It is down 8% on the week, but seriously, people, it was $3,000 about a year ago. Don't be too upset. Ethereum's sitting at $1,215. Not too bad with that dwindling supply. We'll see where things go. Polkadot is currently number 5. It did have a spike up, putting it at number 4. I expect we'll see Polkadot and XRP flipping back and forth a little bit. Litecoin is now number 6. ADA dipped down. As you can see, their market caps, they are about less than $100 million apart, so I can see them fighting as well. Bitcoin Cash continues to slink down towards the bottom where it should be. Chainlink, pretty impressive, getting back to its all-time high of $20. We're pretty close. And Stellar doing pretty well. Also, I'm actually quite happy with all of these things in the top 20. Uniswap cracking in there. Aave's doing well. Let's take a look at biggest earner on the day is Hedge Trade, up 182%. That doesn't seem weird at all. IOST is up 68%. Curve Dow is up 42%. I don't think that's right, but whatever. Pretty decent run. It's actually a very green day for some of the smaller cap alts. Blockstack is the biggest loser on the day so far, down 11%, with Verge down 10%, not too far behind it. Look, keep an eye on all of this stuff. I wish you nothing but the best. Again, this is John with Crypto Top 10. Check back as often as you can. I try to publish at least one video a week. I was doing every weekday, but then I moved to a new job and I had a baby, so my time is not what it used to be, but I still enjoy making these videos for you guys. So please leave a comment down below if wherever you're finding this content allows you to leave comments, and subscribe if you haven't so you can hear from me a bit more often. That'll do it for today. Peace and good fortune to all.